I'm going to show you how to optimize your LinkedIn and get recruiters flooding into your DMs more than you've been flooding into Stacey's DMs in HR, or maybe even Josh in marketing. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is create a picture and create a header. If you don't have a profile picture on LinkedIn, I don't really know what you're doing in life, because you need to have a photo on LinkedIn. I've tried it before by removing my photo to see how often recruiters approach me, and it is close to never. Make sure it's kind of professional as well, or just of your head. You don't want any photos of you down at the pub drinking pints with your mates or anything irresponsible like that. Like, this is a professional social media. And then, of course, you want to make a nice header. Now, I did my header a couple years ago. I actually want to change it. I want to remove the IT technical professional because I don't like the way that sounds anymore. Now, if you aren't very creative yourself, it's very easy to just go over to Canva. And if you want to tailor it to your niche, that's very easy to do. You just type in your career field right after. So I work in technology. And there we go. We have headers tailored towards technology. So just get your contact details on there, get your name, get the field you work in, maybe the industry. And that is step one. Step two is adding a headline. I find a lot of people on LinkedIn have all different types of headlines. Some people even incorporate a bit of comedy into it or show off their personality. They may have like accountant, dog lover, something like that. I personally don't do that. I just have mine as multi-cloud engineer, which is what I am. I'm able to work across AWS and Azure, so I put both of the cloud providers in there as well. Now, the acronyms are very important. The reason why the acronyms are very important, because if you know how LinkedIn works from a recruiter side, they will do Boolean searches and keyword searches to find you. Now, if you have AWS on your profile, I also recommend someone on your profile having Amazon Web Services, because then you hit two birds in one stone. You get both of the keywords and the full name. So recruiters will actually search for both of those. Now, if you only have one, you're not going to come up on their searches as high. But if you have both of those, you'll come up as well. Now, the next one is optional. You don't have to do this, but I have creator mode turned on because I am a content creator and people can follow me. And I do post on there. I don't post as often, but if you want to follow me, go check it out. Now, what you want to do next is go down and complete your about section. So you just want to have a small paragraph explaining what you are, what you've done over your career, maybe some projects you've worked on, maybe some technology you've worked on. And I also like to put my tech stack in here. Again, it's just adding all those buzzwords and keywords that recruiters are going to be searching for when they're recruiting for jobs. And what I also like to do is just say what I do in my current position, because that way your profile is completely up to date. Now, moving on to the jobs and the experience, this is pretty much just a copy and paste from what you have on your CV. Just put that onto LinkedIn. So let's take this one here, which is my current role. I pretty much just say what my job is, what I do, any achievements that I've achieved whilst working there, and I put the tech stack of all the skills that I'm working on. For this specific one, because it's an AWS cloud platform engineer, I've put in a lot of AWS services, and I've said in there, like, I've worked on these, but I'm not limited to them. But those are like the bulk of the main ones that I would work on as an AWS platform engineer. Now, you may have noticed that there's actually a section there called skills as well. Now, this skills section, you don't actually import that on the experience tab. Now, if we go down to the skills section, you can only add 50. So if we go onto the skills, if I just edit this one here, as you can see, what you can do is you can actually apply it to all the different jobs. You can apply it to the colleges you've worked at, any certifications you've done, any projects, and also any courses. So I highly recommend those 50 skills that you have on there are up to date. If they aren't up to date, probably not going to be spotted by recruiters as much. So for example, say you were working on Azure and you now work on AWS. You need to update the skills to say you're working on the Azure services now instead of AWS, providing you want to stay within Azure. Of course, put your education on. So I've put on there what I studied on my apprenticeship, and I also did a couple certifications for CCNA, so I just put those on as well. But those have expired now, so they're not really relevant, but I just leave them on there anyway. The next section is any licenses or any certifications that you have passed. Now, make sure you do add these on as well, because this is something that recruiters search for. If a recruiter is hiring someone and the company has maybe said to them, look, I really want them to have this certification, it isn't essential, but if they do have it, it would be beneficial. Because what can happen, especially in technology, if you hold a certain level of certifications, the company that you're actually working for, they can get a higher partner status from AWS or Microsoft or even Google, for example. And make sure you link it to the actual credential to say that you've actually passed. So as you can see, you can actually link it into the online Credly by Pearson, and there's my exam that I've passed. Now the next one, you can put any projects on there. I actually haven't updated mine in quite a long time. I don't think it has that much big of a bearing for recruiters. If you're trying to get into technology, it might be a good thing to do. Or maybe if you're trying to change careers, it could be a good thing to do as well. But again, you also have GitHub to display your projects and all of your code is on there. The next one is any courses you've been on. So if work sends you on any courses or you do any internal training, I actually recommend you put them on there. Now, I haven't been on loads of technology courses. I haven't been on since I worked at that company there that I worked at in the past, because the last place I wasn't at very long and I job hopped. But even if you're doing any courses from home and you've bought something on Udemy, maybe you've bought something on WizLabs, just add it on there, because essentially you're just adding in more keywords. And you can put into the description field of what you've done on those courses also. So let's say you did a Docker course and it covered how to make a Docker compose, all the different Docker commands, how to do a Docker file. All of those keywords are going to help for recruiters to find you. Now, if you don't have these sections on your profile, they're very easy to add, so I'll show you how to do that now. All you want to do is come up to the top of your profile and you'll have an add profile section. So let's say you don't have the projects on there, you just go to recommended and you press add projects. And the next step is actually posting on LinkedIn, because you never know what's going to happen. And it's actually very easy to get impressions on LinkedIn. You know, you could just farm it with like ChatGPT articles and posts. I don't recommend you do that because it is very obvious if someone's just using AI to write LinkedIn posts. Primarily, you'll see recruiters posting on LinkedIn. You don't really see people posting themselves on LinkedIn unless they're content creators. And one of the reasons people don't really like posting on LinkedIn is because all of the people you work with are on there. People are worried what people are going to think about them. I don't really care about that. I just post whenever I want to. Now, if we take a look at this post I did 3 days ago, it's reached 10,500 people already. Can you imagine how many of them would have been recruiters? Recruiters would have been seeing that thinking, okay, this guy works in cloud, I'm going to connect to him in the future in case I have any job opportunities that are coming up. So posting on LinkedIn and actually getting your brand out there as a person is also very beneficial. And that is exactly how I have optimized my LinkedIn. If you like this video, don't forget to drop a like, comment, and obviously don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you very much for watching.